That's interesting. You see, Instagram, y'all are so fucking weird. Normally when we go live, like it just lets us run through, but for whatever reason, I don't know. They always take issue with me, so we'll just wait for the guys to log back in. I do apologize that we had to ditch part way through, but we are definitely coming back with the whole discussion. Mixcoya being Slim, I got you. I'm coming in. Slim, Mr. L. And now we're just waiting for Val. I do appreciate everyone coming back. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. There we go. Okay. There was a question in the question box, but because the live timed out, which is the first time that's ever happened to us, which is kind of weird. So whoever wrote the question, I didn't get a chance to read it, but whoever wrote the question that didn't get read, if you can put the question back and then we'll get to that. So Mr. Alstor, I don't know if you had more to say on the subject.
No, I pretty much said all that was needed to be said.
Okay. Okay. So the question I was going to ask, you're with someone who believes that their behavior should be tolerated because that's just how they are. That's how they've always been. The last relationship, they were like that. No one else has ever had a problem with it, so I don't see why you have an issue with it. This is just how I am. You know, I love you and I would do anything for you, but this is just how I am. So, and the person doesn't want to go to counseling because they don't really think that anything's wrong with them. They feel like whatever needs to be fixed can be fixed in your relationship. They feel like whatever needs to be fixed should be fixed by you. And if you love them enough, then, you know, their behavior should just be okay because that's just how they are. Toxic, toxic, toxic from top to bottom. Thoughts on that?
I think that is selfish. I think that's a selfish thing a selfish attitude, you know, to say that's just the way I am. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm with somebody and she's adamant about that, and I know that now, that she's
Yeah.
adamant about that, because I've definitely heard that in the past, and I think my dumbass was thinking, you can't be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be like that. That's fucking wild. Like, you know what I'm saying? But she was fucking like that. So I can't even be mad. You know what I'm saying? Because in hindsight, yeah, the bitch was telling me, or I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. The lady was telling me that, you know, exactly how the fuck was going down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But her actions, I'm a man of action. You know, Mr. L said he a man of words. I'm more of a man of action. You know what I'm saying? And her action at times was contradicting what she was telling me. You feel me? So like, you know, and I remember saying, you know, that's just the way you are. You know, at one point, I remember a light bulb going off and say, okay, so maybe that means you're just not for me. That's what that means. If that's just the way you are, and you're not willing to compromise, we ain't gonna make it. This train is gonna, you know, run its course. You know what I mean? Because that's just the way you are. You know what I'm saying? If you're not loving me or care about me, or respect me enough to, you know, cross your mind. Like, remember I said back in the day, like, you know, I think of we in a relationship. I mean, that I becomes to we, or
Yeah.
us. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Those are the pronouns I fucking use. So, you know, before you make a decision, you know, you should be thinking about your significant other. Like Val, I'm willing to bet that you think about your wife before you make every decision that you make. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it involves your household. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you know, why wouldn't you do that for me? If that's not happening for me, that's a sign of selfishness. You're only thinking about yourself or considering yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because especially if I'm telling you, we've discussed it, you know what I mean? What the problem is, or what the issue is, or the part of you that I feel like maybe we could work on, you know what I mean? And I know I need shit I gotta work on. Like, I know all of my issues and all of my problems. You know what I mean? And somebody's willing to tell me some new shit that I ain't heard before, I'm willing to listen to that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm also gonna be cognizant from there going forward. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be aware, and like I said, you know, if I do shit, I think Mr. Ellis said this on your podcast. If I do something that does offend her, you know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna catch it beforehand. You know what I mean? Because I'm human, I may slip, but maybe, you know, I'm gonna remember. Oh shit, you know, she don't like that, or, you know what I mean? I should, you know, be aware of that.
Go ahead, Mr. L. You got it.
Oh man. Could you repeat the question for me one more time, AJ?
You're in a relationship with someone You're building a
And
loving relationship with this person, but every time something happens, she says, "Oh, that's just how I am. I've always been like this. I don't see why I need to change. This is just how I am. You know, if you love me, then you would accept me the way that I am because this is just how I am." Let's say even in the realm of little to no apologies, the rationale always is this is just how I am. So you knew this going in that I was like this, so I don't know why you want me to change because this is just how I am. I don't see why it's such a big deal because this is just how I. Where'd you go? Did I scare you?
I think you scared him away. I
He
think you
didn't
pissed
like the
him off.
question. He didn't like the question. No,
I
sir, let
think
me
you
stop.
pissed
You
him
didn't like
off.
the question? The hell?
I think you pissed him off, man.
Is this what we've come to, Mr. L? This is how you just ditch me like that in the middle of my rant? You
It's
asked
the
me that
booty call.
to
Remember,
repeat
it's
the
the booty
question and
call.
then
He'll come back.
you just bounce? No, no. Okay, Val, come. You answer. I know where he went. He got scared.
He'll come back. He'll come back.
I can invite him back. Okay, there we go. Okay. In the interest of time, Mr. Bastien.
shout out to Val. I caught you saying that he'll come back. I appreciate you, my brother. You know what the deal is. You know
Don't be
all the shit that
scared.
AJ was talking. You know what the deal
I
is. I
don't I
appreciate
don't
you, my
bite.
brother.
I mean I do bite, but not much. Don't worry, don't be
I
scared.
random. I love being bitten. But secondly, so no, I apparently like I touched my screen and it switched stories on
Ah,
Instagram. Y'all know the phone screens are sensitive sometimes.
yeah.
Um, but no, Mr. L never runs. So with that,
Maybe not even touch that.
I do agree with Slim when he was talking about compromising. Like if you know that this is who you are, but this is like what I don't like, and it kind of combats each other, and we're not compromising on something. And I would never ask you to compromise on something I wouldn't be willing to compromise myself on. So I
Exactly.
agree with him. Um, I have learned to take women at face value. If you tell me that you are this way, then I will take you for this way. I am not going to assume, expect, or anything. If you tell me that this is who you are, or you do this, you do that, I take you for who you are. At this point in my life, I've learned to do that. Um, I do believe that love conquers all, and that there are some instances where you may be able to change someone because you love them so much. That was me. I used to believe like, yo, nah, I can love this person to like the point that they want to change themselves from me. I used to believe that. Cool. Now I literally take women for face value. If you tell me that you are this way, cool. I'm going to move accordingly. This is how you are. This is how I'm going to move. But then if we continue to get deeper into it, like these are usually conversations we have towards the beginning of it. So if you tell me that you're this way and I tell you that I'm that way, but you tell me like, okay, then we might can make something work, but then we can't make something work, then you're not for me. That's just what it is. Kind of like when you're having your hard limits or hard nose with certain things. If this is how you are, if you are, shout out to the Lipstick and Laundry podcast. I was just a guest on that. Y'all see that this coming up week. But like we were talking and she was like, yo, this is who I am, this X, Y, and Z. And we were just talking in general on the podcast. I'm like, yo, I could deal with the person this way because this is how I am. But ultimately, especially if it's in a toxic way, I'm not going to entertain you to that level. I may entertain you for but so long, but it's not going past that because I understand. You told me who you are. I believe that because I've had women who told me they were toxic. We said this earlier in the live. I've had women tell me they were toxic. You tell me you're toxic, AJ. I'm like, okay, AJ is toxic. This is don't expect anything further than this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to set myself up for failure. That's
Right.
just what it is. That's all I had to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of Mr. L. I usually believe whatever's told to me at face value, and I learned that after a heartbreak because I thought that I'd be able to help somebody change how they thought, how they processed that. Nope, killed it. Wasted 3 years of my life. It is what it is. I learned my lesson. Um, but my thing is now, when I hear this and I see this in my sessions as well, if that's just how I am, is what you want to run to. I believe somebody said it earlier. I think it was S. Dot. Like people are so afraid of working on themselves. It's not even funny. You know what I mean? You don't want to face yourself. You don't want to face your demons. You don't want to admit that it might legit be you. You know what I mean? Especially if you have somebody that's with you that is that it doesn't bother them when they apologize for doing something wrong. You know what I mean? They're apologizing to you. They're calling themselves out. They're taking their own accountability. You held them accountable, they're taking accountability and all that stuff. But if you can't, and your response to that kind of person is, that's just how I am, deal with it, red flag, no, stay away. I'm with Mr. L too, and he says love conquers all. So you may be able to help that individual break out of that shell, get them out of their box, but that's a very tough thing to do to somebody who is so solid on the fact of I'm perfect and there's nothing wrong with me.
Mm. Mr. L?
Okay. All right. So also Val reminded me of something that I did want to say before technical difficulties. It kind of reminds me of like if you know that you are toxic in this way, but you're not seeking help, I don't need anything for you. Like I got nothing for you. You want me to be able to work on things in my life personally, not even talking relationship aspect, but you're not willing to do the same, that you are just, nope, this is who I am, not trying to work on it. You either have to accept it or keep it moving. I'm gonna keep it moving. It's as simple as that. If you, especially if you know that it's toxic and it is negative, nah, I'm good.
Okay. So I have a segue question based on everything that all three of you just said. It'll be the last question of the evening. You said that at some point you believe that you could love a person enough into changing. Okay. Are there limitations on loving someone who you know is toxic? And at what point do you hit that wall and say, I can't do this anymore? Val, I know you said yours was 3 years. Now, I'm going to ask you, I don't want you to necessarily get into the details of it,
Yeah.
but just touch on that a little bit. Does your love have limitations when you know for a fact that the person is toxic?
Lord. Okay, so I'm not answering this generally. I have to answer this for personally, right? That's what you want?
Um,
I don't mind.
you can do whichever is comfortable for you. I'm
Both
not going
of
to
them.
say necessarily what's
Okay.
comfortable for you.
Both of them.
So
Mm-hmm.
Both
I
of them.
I feel that when, okay, obviously sometimes when you're in a situation, like you're in it, so you can't really take yourself out of it and look at it that way. You know what I mean? You can't be the third person while you're being the first and second person. You know what I mean? So it would have to be, it would have to come to a point where it's just like you've exhausted all of your options of trying to help this individual. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't necessarily say that there's limitations on the love, because when you love someone, um, even if they fuck up, and I'm talking about with what we're talking about here, just the fact that this is how I am, they're toxic and all that stuff, whatever. You're hard pressed to put a limit on that, because you can't really control how much love you have for someone. At least that's how I see it. So out of that love, you're gonna try multiple times to help them. So the wall, I would say that wall is when you do some self-reflection and you're just like, you tried this, you tried this, you tried this, and there's no movement. That's my thing. There's no movement. There's no forward progression. No nothing. That's the wall that I hit, and that's when I have to be true and love myself more, and be like, I can't do this no more. I got to be out.
Okay, that's fair. Who's taking next?
I'll take next. That's something honestly that I had to learn, and I just learned that recently. I was a firm believer that you could change a person, and you cannot. You know what I mean? I had to learn that shit the hard motherfucking way. You know what I mean? I believe I could change the world. I've always been like that since a fucking kid. You know what I'm saying? So, and the fact, you know, for me, it was a hard concept for me to absorb that somebody who I love so much and claim they love me so much, you know, can't change. You know what I'm saying? Like you
You're
that
not willing to.
yeah, no, not willing to. You know what I'm saying? Um, the toxicness, yeah, that
Oh,
was
that's my
that.
heart. I'm so sorry.
Look,
Sorry. No, that hurts my heart for you. I
it's
know,
all right.
like you're. Anyway, sorry.
Good. I'm good. Like the toxicness is something that was like something like a whole new level for me as well. So like, you know, I had to absorb it. But the number one thing that made me change, that made me like step away, is two things. Number one, you know, I've been through worse. You know what I mean? That was number one. I had to tell myself. And then number two is when I looked at my daughter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my mind, I was looking at my daughter, and I'm like, yo, how the fuck do I look like going through shit that if a man put her through shit, I would wring a nigga neck for it. You know what I'm saying? Like I would I would gladly do what I gotta do, or you know what I'm saying, like, or I would curse her the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? If she was, if you know, she was dealing with the toxic shit that I was dealing with. You know what I mean? And once I swallowed that pill and shit, I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I have to pick my nuts up and do, you know what I mean, and do what I have to do. You know what I mean? So
Sorry, Slim, can I ask you a really quick question? Mr. I'm gonna get one second, but Slim, so because you're raising a daughter,
yeah.
if you recognize as she got older, let's say she's in her teen years, and you recognize certain toxic traits about her in the way that she dealt with men, in the way that she talked about men, in the way that just her demeanor, her attitude, would you just allow her to just continue to be the way she is, or would you have that conversation with her?
I would definitely have the conversation with her because I mean, I'm a firm believer when women, when like I knew all men ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? I believe I have value. You know what I'm saying? So whenever women do constantly say, "Oh, you know, men ain't shit," my whole thing is like, "Hey, you're dealing. No, the group of men that you fuck with ain't shit. You know what I mean? Change your circle of niggas who you around. You know what I mean? And you may fucking meet somebody. You know what I mean? If you change, get out your box a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Get with a
Yep.
nigga who talk a little different, who done seen some shit. You know what I mean? So like, and you may deal with a different, you may catch a different vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like, so with that being said, I would definitely, you know, if she's constantly, but I would take a look at my girl at the source as well. You know, you got to consider the source. I would take a
Yeah.
look at my daughter. She conducting herself in a certain way, which I hope she ain't. Knock some motherfucking wood. Uh, if she ain't motherfucking, I just knock on my dick when I say knock on wood, but no, that's another story. Look, um,
You're
look,
not gonna blame me for that one. I'm
no,
gonna
I
just say
got you,
that.
dog. I got you, dog. Look, nah, but I would look at my daughter. If she's, you know, I would tell my daughter, listen, you stop dealing with these dumbass niggas, number one, or I would say, yo, man, you know, I'm sorry, or you know, don't, or hey, you need to change the way that shit. I don't know where you get that from. You know what I'm saying? But that's not cool. And I don't think her mother's not that type anyway. So I don't believe that, you know, she would pick up that behavior.
Hmm.
Okay. Mr. L, are there
Is it?
limitations to you loving a person who you know is toxic?
So before I jump in and answer this question directly, I want to say the one thing that I really love about our little group dynamic, because I'm in the South and all y'all are way much northern than me, is the slang and just all the everything
Yo,
I love it.
I come with it
You
though,
Um,
get to
bro.
hear the good talk,
and I
the good
fuck with it. I
check-in.
love it. Yes, I love it. But yes, there's limitations. To the if we take because most people know Mr. L from the sexual side and everything, and I try to incorporate it in my podcast as much as possible. I'm a sucker for love. I love the idea of love. I'm a hopeless romantic, all of that. I love that shit, you know. But unfortunately, I've been hurt as well. And so my limitations are usually because I have no issue giving, sometimes 70 when she's giving 30. But if it gets to the point where I'm giving 70 more times than I should be, then I'm good on it. I have to cut it off. I have to end it there because I'm exerting too much energy where I'm not getting
Mm-hmm.
anything back. I can only feed into it when I'm getting fed as well at some point. And that's why I said 70-30 because I do not expect the same thing that I give to somebody from them all the time. I understand how people are, and I don't expect for somebody to be able to give me, 50-50 all the time. It's cool.
Right.
But when it starts to affect me really to an emotional point, to a spiritual point, and especially a physical point, nah, I can't love you anymore. I've done all that I can do. I've exhausted everything that I can do. And unfortunately, I had to learn that even at that level that I was at, maybe like 2 years ago, to this point, I have to cut that off before it even gets to that point. Because then it does take into effect of my emotions. Men are emotional creatures as well as women are. And so if it starts to damage my emotions, I have to stop it right then and there because one, life already has enough shit going on as it is. And if emotionally I can't count on you, not even to do your half, but to give me at least 30%, I can't do it. Then we're good. I'm good on it. I'll continue to just keep it moving. It's not working, this, that, and the other. No.
I mean, I know we talk about like expectations and not putting expectations, but truthfully, I would have some expectations of my woman. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I,
definitely.
I mean, I would expect more than 30% as well. I mean, not like I'm saying you ain't gotta go 50-50 all the time and shit, but I also believe in love language too. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
I believe that's a real thing. Like when you said earlier, instead of an apology, it's cooking and doing some other things, acceptable. Like, I mean, for me, like it's acceptable. Yes, I will accept it, and like Val said, that's we can start. It's a segue to talking about it. But I just need to know that you understand what you did hurt me, or I didn't like, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So it's not,
There has to be a balance.
has to be a
Yeah,
balance.
I know from personal experience
Has to be a
that I
balance.
can't love you enough. That's why I brought up like the 70-30 thing. I
Yeah.
can't love you enough in order to expect that you're going to change or assume that you're going to change to what I'm expecting you to.
Right.
You know, that's just what it is.
Okay. So before we go, and before I say my thank yous, I do want to say that we've done two conversations about toxicity. And the truth of the matter is, as you've all said, toxicity is not gender specific. There are toxic men, there are toxic women, there are people who are non-gender specific that are toxic.
Y'all
Toxicity
toxic
exists,
too.
period, across the world. It is not gender specific. It is a mindset. It's a negative, nasty attitude. Of course, there are influencers, there are life circumstances, there are societal pressures or societal circumstances, and a whole bunch of other things. But at the end of the day, if you're not working on yourself, you can't expect that someone is going to ride through with you, especially if you're not willing to help along that journey, if that makes sense. Like Mr. L, you said, like if you're giving 70%, and 30 is all I expect of you, give me the 30. Do you know what I mean? If I'm willing to stay and work with you and go through the shits with you, and you're not willing to do your part, even in the smallest way, it's always going to be a problem.
And just
Toxic
to piggyback on that
communication.
real quick, AJ,
Yeah, go
that's
ahead.
not like a every single time. Don't expect Mr. L to give you 70% every. I'll do my best, but I can give you maybe 3 days out the
Balance.
week. But those other four, I can't give you 70. I need you to come with at least something. Something.
But my thing
I
is too,
always
if you're gonna
say,
give me 30, like I would like
give
to
me a
attribute.
100% of your 30. If 30 is the best that you can do, give me a
Give me
100% of
100%
your
of your
30.
30.
Yeah, but for
Yep.
me, I have to attribute why am I only receiving 30? I feel like that's almost making me less of a value. You know what I mean?
So with that, if you don't mind, AJ, before you end it,
No,
so
go ahead.
with that,
Go ahead.
Slim. So the thing is, like,
Right.
I understand so much shit goes on in life that sometimes all you can give is 30.
Yeah, but
Right.
let's attribute that to something. You understand what I'm saying? There should be,
Yeah.
and I'm not
So
trying to be funny. If I'm giving you 70 or like a bulk of it, I don't. I feel like I love you more. I shouldn't feel like that. I love you more than you love me. You know what I'm saying? That's not.
Well, what if the 30% that the person is giving also includes that they're trying really hard and they're working on themselves, but for where they are mentally and emotionally, 30% is what they can give, but they're always giving you the full value of that until they can get to a better place. Would
If
that be
you,
acceptable?
yeah, if you're working on it, yeah, that's no problem. Because you know what I mean. We can
Okay.
trust the
so
progress,
Yeah.
definitely.
and
Progress.
that's why I said like L at not don't expect it the whole time. It's not
Yeah.
70 the whole time. If I need to bring up 70, it's like when you're carrying balance in a relationship. If my baby is slacking off in something, all right, hey, I got you. You get to where you need to get back to get up here. Until then, Mr. L's got you.
Yeah,
Same thing. It's not like an all the time 70-30 thing. No, because then I'm going to be drained. What
Yes.
am I getting back to water my flowers in order to water yours?
toxic,
Yeah.
bro. Toxic.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. I love you guys. Always appreciate you. From top to bottom in a circle, wherever you are. It's Slim. Let people know who you are, where they can find you, where they can hit you up, how they can get to you, what it is that you do. And congratulations. I didn't get to say it again.
Woo!
Congratulations, for the
Congratulations.
Hey,
semester. I
my man,
appreciate that.
finish the year, the semester out, the year. What
Yeah,
is
the semester. I appreciate that. I appreciate all you guys. Thanks for accommodating, especially you, Mr. L, over the weekend. You really understood that. I appreciate that. Everybody know me. I'm Slim. I'm the genuine Slim at Slim Stay Scheming, PR representative for 973 Vibes. You're on all streaming platforms, everything: Instagram, Spotify, Audible, what is it? Apple. Everything.
everywhere.
YouTube, everywhere. Everywhere, everywhere. Go check out my latest episode with Mr. L, one of my from the mind of Mr. L. Please, go do that.
Very nice.
That's
Mr.
it.
Val, resident dating and relationship guru.
What's going on, everyone? Um, everyone in the comments, everybody's been watching. Thank you very much. Okay, y'all comments made this live. Okay, so thank you very much appreciated. Again, name is Val. Dating for millennials and Gen Z. Instagram dating underscore Gen YZ. A relationship advisor. What I aim to do is to help cultivate the healthy dating and relationship lives that we all deserve. You can feel free to DM me. I do sessions as well. Sessions kind of sort of go like this. We have really good conversations. I don't drill you and all that stuff, whatever. We have a conversation to get to where we need to get to help you out, okay? DM, email, datinggenerationyz@gmail.com. Also got my series going on. It's the intricacies of dating and relationships. Please check those episodes out. Next episode is coming up really soon.
Shout out that
Boom, that's all
wifey.
I
Shout
got.
out that wifey.
Oh, I gotta
Yes,
shout out the wife. Gotta shout
yes.
out the wife.
Always the
Yeah,
first lady.
Big
yeah,
up
boy.
yourself.
First lady. I'm gonna hit y'all up. I gotta let my shit fill in a little bit. You know that.
Yeah, you know.
I fucked my
Hit
shit
her
up a
up, hit
couple
her
weeks
up.
ago.
And Mr. L, our smutty Southern gentleman.
So first, I want to say, AJ, I love you. Thank you. You are amazing. Thank you for being the host of this. Without you, this wouldn't have happened.
Oh,
Continue to bloom. I appreciate you. But I am Mr. L from the Mind of Mr. L podcast. You can find me on Instagram from the Mind of Mr. L. As was stated earlier, I just did an episode with the
yes,
gentlemen that are
yes.
sitting right here, Slim Stay Scheming and my guy Val. It's a pretty good episode. It's like 2 hours long of us just shooting the shit, talking about men shit and our perspective. So please go check that out, like and subscribe.
Yes.
Instagram is from the mind of Mr. L. Twitter from the mind of Mr. L. Just take the O out because Twitter be on some bullshit. But I am the compassionate Dom, the sensual sadist, the Southern gent
Yay.
with the sprinkle of filth. Mr. L, thank you all for joining us.
Oh my goodness. So to everyone in the comments, everyone who joined the live, the first half and the second half, to everyone who stayed from beginning to end, everyone who came and left, everyone who contributed something, everyone who learned and gained something. My guys, I love you all with my heart, the whole of my heart. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you for doing this with me. This is really dope. This is fire. We're fire. Let me just say that. We're
You brought us
foreplay.
together, AJ. You
We're
brought us
foreplay.
together.
It's because of you, AJ. It's because
Oh,
of
thank
you.
So, as always, everyone's information will be in the write-up. So they're just a click away on the links that you can get to them. You can message them. Their DMs are open. We'll also put email information if you feel more comfortable sending an email to them. Very personable, as you can see, very knowledgeable, and very sincere. The conversations are always genuine and from the heart. And I want to say, more than anything, for the personal pieces that each of you give and you share, there aren't enough words of appreciation for that, because it's never superficial and it's never surface. It's always genuine, it's always sincere, and it's always love. And I appreciate you all for that.
I don't know if it's the tequila or if it's all the love, but my brother about to shed a tear, so let's go ahead and wrap
All
this
of it,
thing
boo.
up. I mean, it's okay for brothers to cry, fellas. It's all right for y'all to do
Yep.
that, just to let you know.
Go
But
and
you
enjoy
know,
your poolside, your pool host, your pool
Yeah.
party. Take a little dip for all of us.
Yeah.
I got you.
Swim. Okay, so we will see you guys in 2 weeks. We'll be back with another fantastic topic. As always, this has been Three Guys and a Girl. Thank y'all for joining our live. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Good night.
Peace.
Another fabulous live. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for, coming and hanging out with us. We will be back in 2 weeks with another great topic. Three Guys and a Girl. Make sure that you follow my guys, like and subscribe to everything that they have going on. I will put their information in the write-up, so you can just click on them and, get to it. So in the meantime and in between time, Pum Pum Posse and everybody who is not part of the Pum Pum Posse and join in a day of royalty, I love you so much. listen to me. I can't wait for the borders to friggin' open. Being in Canada, it's sending me crazy because I can't go anywhere yet. So when life opens up and the world opens up, we are all gonna get together and it's gonna be absolutely fabulous. But in the meantime and in between time, y'all take care of yourselves and I'll talk to you later.